I know it's all about catch and release, but there's always an exception to that. And that's the case here at our pond. If you've watched some of our past videos, and as you'll see, we've got a tremendous amount of bass in this pond. And believe it or not, you can only have so many predators in a pond to allow for big ones. I use the analogy just like deer hunting. If you're a deer hunter, you know to grow big bucks, you've got to have a deer herd that's healthy, and you got to keep the deer herd in check so the big bucks can grow to their full potential. It's the same thing in this little tiny pond. So, you know, owning this pond now for 4 or 5 years, I'm amazed at every year how many bass we have to take out of this pond just to keep it healthy. But with that being said, I'm going to show you a little technique that is a great way to have a nice little snack or just a quick meal. I'm not the best of cooks, but I can show you the way I like to cook up some fish. So we're going to take some bass that need to come out of this pond. We're going to fillet them up, and then we're going to show you how to make a nice little lunch out of them as well. Oh, there we go, a little guy. Another little guy. Not a giant, but yay. Another little guy. Definitely got to do some fish management in here. Another little guy. Not a very big one, but obviously we need to do some fish management in my pond. As you can see, I have way too many small bass in this pond, a lot of 10 to 12 inch bass in this pond. So I'm going to show you how we take care of that problem and enjoy it as well. I know this is going to shock a lot of you, but believe it or not, I'm going to fillet some of these bass. Okay, so we've got 8 bass here that this kills me to do it, but hey, that's part of being a good steward and managing a piece of property or pond properly. So I've got these 8 bass here. Got me a lot of ice because I like to keep them cold. Take a little water. Put them in the deep freeze. So here it is. I've got the fish ready to be cleaned. This is my redneck fish cleaning table at this point. The back of the side-by-side. Got some newspaper back here. I love newspaper, old school newspaper, because it actually makes for pretty easy cleanup. I'm not too worried about a lot out here, but just the final cleanup makes it nice and easy. Got my Eagle Claw fillet board here, my Bubba electric knife, my little tiny like 4-inch knife just for de-ribbing, and here it goes. And then I've got little tubs here. Bobby says I'm quite the hoarder, but I love to keep little containers like this. One, because they make really good ice blocks we put in our freezer, but they make really good containers just to put all this extra fish stuff in. So I know this is tough to see, but trust me, it hurts me as much as it hurts you, but it's one of those things. I don't have a choice in my little pond here. So I'm just trying to do the next best thing possible. And we're going to enjoy some of the resources, God-given resources that we've got and managed here in the pond. And by us taking these out of the pond, it's going to allow those bigger fish in the pond to grow bigger because they're going to have more to eat. So when it comes to cleaning at least bass, I found, now this is only per pond or state regulations, that at least a 10-inch bass. You got to have at least a 10-inch bass. This is probably a 12 or 13-inch bass here, but this is a great size, makes really good fillets. But I love my little really thin Bubba blade, one that's a really flexible blade. And go in there behind the ribs. And I know there's more ways than one to skin a cat. But this is just the way it works for me. It's quick, it's easy. I mean, is there other ways that you might get a few more pieces of meat? So I take my filleted pieces that still need to be ribbed and I throw them in here on some ice, because there's one thing I know about fish preparation and preparing fish is the fresher you can keep it and the colder you can keep it, the better. So, my son will even tell me that you're not even supposed to get water on the fillets once you fillet them, but that's not how I grew up doing it. So, you don't want to have blood on there either. So there's that one filleted. This will feed the turtles and other critters, but there's it's not de-ribbed yet, but I mean, that's just a beautiful piece of meat right there. So here's how I fillet a fish. So I always start with the fish facing away from me and get it, hold it up under the gills. And I like a really flexible fillet knife. Now, if you get into bigger fish, saltwater fish, a more firm blade, but I like this one because it flexes easy. You go right down behind that fin. You can kind of see that mark, and you're going at an angle, about a 45-degree angle. Go down that, and it's just a feel. You get down there, you don't want to go through the backbone. You go through that, you turn right at the backbone, and just keep that knife at a slight downward angle, and you can feel that thing just going along. You can feel it going along the spine here, the middle of the fish. So, and then you flip that over like so, and just fillet that down like that. So this is actually a really good example of a fish to get out of the pond. So here we have this little female bass in here that she was about to spawn all these little fish in here. Now in a big lake, that would be a wonderful thing. But in this little pond, I don't need any more bass in here. I got plenty of bass in here, and I want some bigger ones out of here. So this is a really good fish to get out of this pond, get this thing out of here before it lays eggs and produces more little bass in the pond for me. And these carcasses, they'll go back in the pond, they'll feed the crawfish, the little bluegill will come and eat off of them, and even my turtles as well. So, just kind of a good, happy ecosystem here. And even my dog likes to go eat them for some reason. We've had a few fish die, I guess, over the winter. And Penny likes to bring some fish heads up to the house and snack on those, and gives her some really good breath, or roll in them, or whatever she does. So here's cleaning a bass, or filleting a bass. You start with the fish looking away from me. I put my hand in his gills, and I like to come in here at about a 45-degree angle, and I work that down, and then you can kind of watch it, and it will get close to that spine of the fish, and I turn, and then I point the knife away from me and just slightly down, and you can feel it as you kind of work your way right along that spine and feel it go through those ribs. And I get almost to the tail, and then I take this and I flip it over like so and keep it attached. And then I can just take my knife, push down a little bit against the skin, just like that. And there it is. There's my nice, pretty fresh fillet. And now that is ready to just be deboned, and we'll do that here in a second. So now we're going to take the fish. I leave that skin attached. Flip it over. Now I've got it facing towards me. I put my thumb in the gills just to get a good grip. They do have this thing on the end. Honestly, I've never used it, but you could. But just take, same thing, kind of away, and at an angle, go down. This side's a little bit harder to get the feel for it. Go right along the spine, like so. Flip that over. And this same process works with basically all freshwater species, even a lot of saltwater species. But there you have it. There's a freshly filleted bass. There's not a lot of meat left on that thing for this size of fish. So the rest is for the crawfish, the bluegill, and the turtles. And Penny, no, not you. Penny thinks she wants to have them, but I don't want Penny to have them. So now we've filleted the bass. Now we're going to rib them. So I've got this little tub here. I've got some ice in here with the ones that need to be ribbed. This is just how I like to do it. Some people like to do it after each fish.
Well, you like to have Mason to rib it for you.
Yeah, actually, it's best to have a buddy help you with ribbing. It's a good way to introduce people that have never filleted fish. Let them become the ribbers and get used to handling a knife. And then from there, we're going to clean my board though. So now we're ready to rib. Okay, so here's our ribs, and we want to cut right along that and get these ribs out of here. So I just kind of start. You don't need a real long fillet knife for this. And I know there's some of you guys out there that can probably do it a lot faster than me, but hey, guess what? We got the job done right there. So there is a fillet that's basically ready to eat. We'll go inside and kind of rinse it off or clean it off, and then it will be ready. Okay, so I've got this little tub here. We're going to put that in there, keep it cold. So those of you, if you're around a river or fishing a big body of water and like to catfish, this is some phenomenal catfish bait right here. Just the rib meat of whatever fish you're cleaning, it makes for some phenomenal catfish bait as well. So, but obviously check your state regulations on that also. So there you have it, a nice fillet. So there it is. We've got a couple fillets there, and now you've seen what we do to keep our fish population in check, how I clean them, and now we're going to take you inside and show you how I cook them. This is a cool little deal my dad came up with many years ago, but I found out it's a great way. You know, if you're at a body of water, you don't have a lot of time, you don't have a grill or a lot of resources, this is just a quick way to fix up some fish and make a nice little meal for yourself. Okay, so we've caught the fish, we've filleted the fish, and now it's time to cook the fish. I've got the fillets right here, and this can be a perfect meal for me because Bobby said she wasn't fixing dinner tonight. So I'm just going to bring them in. Some people will tell you you don't want to rinse off your fillets, but guess what? I've done it my entire life, so I'm not changing now. So got our fillets. I'm just going to rinse them off here. You know, when it comes to fried fish, we've always found that about 5 fillets per person if you got a group of people, if you're ever doing a fish fry. But this just happens to, a couple of these were pretty small, and a couple of them were decent. So just going to get these rinsed off good. Okay, so the fillets are rinsed off. This is just a really quick way to fix some fish. Like I said, we've done it in hotel rooms where you don't have any other means of cooking other than just a microwave. It's a great way if you just catch 1 or 2 fish and want a quick meal. So here it is. There's 4 bass that we filleted here. And I've found that more firm fillets seem to work better. Crappie are good as long as they're bigger fillets that are thicker. Walleye are phenomenal doing this way. Perch. But I'm just going to take them, I rinsed them off, dry them good. So we just take them like that. And I always take the biggest fillets and I put them in the middle of our microwave plate. Like so. Take the small fillets, put them out on the sides. Now, just like everything's better with butter. So, but butter is the main ingredient here except for the fish. So good soft butter is good. And I'm sure there's some chefs out there that are saying there's better ways to do this, but this is just a quick, cheap, bachelor way to fix up some fish here. You know, I learned this. My dad's quite the experimenter, and it's probably tell too much of my age, but he learned this just by experimenting when microwaves first came out. So I think that was probably in the 80s. And that's probably what happened. We caught 1 or 2 bass and my dad just decided to try it. And it's kind of been one of our secret family recipes ever since. So here's the next ingredients, just your spices. You can't go wrong with salt and pepper. Just salt it good, not too much. Just it's kind of to your liking. Some good pepper. Aaron Martin's cayenne pepper here. A little bit of that. And I thought tonight, Freddy's fries, but we're going to put some Freddy's seasoning on our fish. So there's our fish. We're going to put a paper towel over it, and time to put it in the microwave. Going to put it in the microwave, put our little thing on there so the microwave doesn't get a mess, but the paper towel kind of does it. So there's 8 fillets in there, so I'm going to go 3 minutes, and I'm probably going to check it after probably about 2 to 2.5 minutes, because the whole key there now is you want the fillets to be white, almost like steamed fish. You don't want any of that clear part of the fillets in there. You just want them white, and then they're done. And I'm going to have some rice to go with it. 2.5 minutes in. Oh, it's kind of already done. No, it's a little bit white right there, or clear there. So I think you can. We're going to put it in for the remaining 20 seconds here. Okay. So 3 minutes in, and there you have it. Perfectly prepared bass. They're a little hot right now, so we're going to let them cool off. But you can see it's all nice and flaky. That's the whole key, is nice and flaky fish. Now you just got to let it cool off and enjoy it with whatever you want. We're going to warm up some rice and have some rice with it. Put some rice in there. That's hot.
I think Penny has to make a cameo in every video we do.
I think so.
Hey, Tim.
Okay. So guess I better leave Mason a little bit there. All right. Got Mason some rice and fish. There you have it. Nothing fancy, just some nice microwave bass and some steamed rice. It's what's for dinner.